Happiness and peace, those are really the prime issues in human existence. That is what all of us are seeking. This often is a bit hard to see because we cover up those basic goals with layers of surface objectives. We want food, we want money, we want sex, possessions and respect. We even say to ourselves that the idea of happiness is too abstract. Look, I am practical. Just give me enough money and I will buy all the happiness I need. Unfortunately, this is an attitude that does not work. Examine each of these goals and you will find they are superficial. You want food. Why? Because I am hungry. So you are hungry. So what? Well, if I eat, I won't be hungry and then I'll feel good. Aha. Feel good. Now there is a real item. What we really seek is not the surface goals. They are just means to an end. What we are really after is the feeling of relief that comes when the drive is satisfied. Relief, relaxation and an end to the tension. Peace, happiness, no more yearning. So what is this happiness? For most of us, the perfect happiness would mean getting everything we wanted, being in control of everything, playing Caesar, making the whole world dance a jig according to our every whim. Once again, it does not work that way. Take a look at the people in history who have actually held this ultimate power. These were not happy people. Most assuredly they were not men at peace with themselves. Why? Because they were driven to control the world totally and absolutely and they could not. They wanted to control all men and there remained men who refused to be controlled. They could not control the stars. They still got sick. They still had to die. You can't ever get everything you want. It is impossible. Luckily, there is another option. You can learn to control your mind, to step outside of this endless cycle of desire and aversion. You can learn to not want what you want, to recognize desires but not be controlled by them. This does not mean that you lie down on the road and invite everybody to walk all over you. It means that you continue to live a very normal looking life, but live from a whole new viewpoint. You do the things that a person must do, but you are free from that obsessive, compulsive drivenness of your own desires. You want something, but you don't need to chase after it. You fear something, but you don't need to stand there quaking in your boots. This sort of mental culture is very difficult. It takes years. But trying to control everything is impossible, and the difficult is preferable to the impossible. Wait a minute, though. Peace and happiness, isn't that what civilization is all about? We build skyscrapers and freeways. We have paid vacations, TV sets. We provide free hospitals and sick leaves, social security and welfare benefits. All of that is aimed at providing some measure of peace and happiness. Yet the rate of mental illness climbs steadily, and the crime rates rise faster. The streets are crawling with delinquents and unstable individuals. Stick your arms outside the safety of your own door and somebody is very likely to steal your watch. Something is not working. A happy man does not feel driven to kill. We like to think that our society is exploiting every area of human knowledge in order to achieve peace and happiness. We are just beginning to realize that we have overdeveloped the material aspect of existence at the expense of the deeper emotional and spiritual aspect, and we are paying the price for that error. It is one thing to talk about degeneration of moral and spiritual fiber in America today, and another thing to do something about it. The place to start is within ourselves. Look carefully inside, truly and objectively, and each of us will see moments when, I am the punk, and, I am the crazy. We will learn to see those moments, see them clearly, cleanly and without condemnation, and we will be on our way up and out of being so.
So, William, how do you summarize this passage and what is your understanding?
Good. I'm listening intently. What we are really after is the feeling of relief that comes when the drive is satisfied. For most of us, the perfect happiness would mean getting everything we wanted. You can learn to not want what you want, to recognize desires but not be controlled by them. A happy man does not feel driven to kill. We like to think that our society is exploiting every area of human knowledge in order to achieve peace and happiness. But we are paying the price for an overdeveloped material aspect of existence at the expense of emotional and spiritual aspect.
So, Dear Mentor David, please share with us your insights, or views, or your little stories related to this.
Okay, well, in my opinion, the author is correct in saying that happiness and peace are the prime issues in human existence, and that we often cover up these goals with surface objectives. I agree that it is difficult to control everything and that it is preferable to try and control our minds instead. This mental culture can be difficult, but it is worth the effort. I think the author is saying that we often chase after superficial things that we think will make us happy, when in reality what we are really after is peace and happiness. However, it is difficult to achieve true peace and happiness because we are constantly driven by our desires. We can never get everything we want, and even if we did, we would still be unhappy because we would be trying to control everything. The author suggests that instead of trying to control everything, we should learn to control our minds and not be controlled by our desires. This is a difficult task, but it is preferable to the impossible task of trying to control everything. I think the author is onto something. We often chase after things that we think will make us happy, but in reality, they only provide us with temporary relief from our desires. We can never get everything we want, and even if we did, we would still be unhappy because we would be trying to control everything. The author suggests that instead of trying to control everything, we should learn to control our minds and not be controlled by our desires. This is a difficult task, but it is preferable to the impossible task of trying to control everything. I can relate to what the author is saying. I often find myself chasing after things that I think will make me happy, but in reality, they only provide me with temporary relief from my desires. I can never get everything I want, and even if I did, I would still be unhappy because I would be trying to control everything. The author's suggestion of learning to control our minds and not be controlled by our desires is a difficult task, but it is preferable to the impossible task of trying to control everything.